Alright, what's up, y'all? It's Wooly here, and we're going to go ahead and talk about water DPS now. Right now, everything is pretty much good as far as might goes with this setup right here, Transformation Card, Omega, and then Ebon. And ideally for any power like water that has combos, like so. For your allies, you generally want Starfire and then John Stewart. So I don't have John Stewart yet. But I plan to get him as soon as possible, and that's a pretty significant buff to your might. So for context, if we look at Starfire here, right, and we're using the might buff where we use the weapon buff ability, it grants us a 5% might buff. So if we look at my might right now, right, it's 417,944. So if we hit that weapon buff with Starfire, we get that green glow, and then we can see I'm at 442,172. So pretty significant might buff. Now, John Stewart, what he does is when you use any combo power, you get a buff to your might with a 30-second cooldown, but for a few seconds there, you have a pretty significant might buff. So if you're stacking both of those together, you're easily looking at about 40 to 50,000, depending on their levels. And that's a pretty hefty buff to your might. So ideally, like I said, you'd want to have John Stewart in place of any other ally paired with um, Starfire. Okay, and then of course you're going to want to be running the transformation card, the Omega Totality, and then Ebon's Untethered Shadow. Sorry. So when you look at the loadout, we're going to be using Drown, we're going to be using Pressurize, we're going to be using Tsunami Strikes where we combo that. So basically we hit it, and then we tap range, tap range, tap range, and that's it. So we hit it, tap range, tap range, tap range, and you'll want to do it a lot quicker. Okay. Um, and then we're going to be using Heat Vision, and that's the loadout and the rotation. So you're going to want to hit Drown and then clip it with Pressurize as soon as they're available. So Drown is a 6-second cooldown, so you'll be able to get it twice between the time that you hit Pressurize. On top of that, Drown is a supercharged generator, so if we go over here and we look at the ultimate mods, this is what you're going to want. You're going to want the ultimate accelerated powers mod. So using a shield or supercharged generator, superpower has a 25% chance to reset the cooldowns of the shield or supercharged generator. So all that means is that at some point hitting supercharged generator just like that, it automatically cooled it down, and now it's back and ready to be used again, giving me more supercharged generation. Okay. Um, so let's take a look at it. Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to hit Drown and immediately clip it with our weapon buff to get that might buff. At which point we would go into Heat Vision. You can start with Tsunami Strikes if you like, but I prefer to go straight into Heat Vision because what Heat Vision does is it starts immediately building your Omega, right? Because you want to get those 10 hits for Omega the same way that you do for Ebon, right? So with Heat Vision, how it acts, you can see it's constantly upping the glow of the Omega Totality. So every second and a half, I believe, or every second, it's like an additional hit coming off of Heat Vision. So it'd be like if you were just hitting one power after the other over and over, it's automatically building up, and you can see that Omega is ready to go. So if we look at it, and we're going to watch it cool down here really quickly, and I'll jump into AoE in a minute. I just want to show you all how it works. So if we look at, it's a blank canvas, right? So if we start with Heat Vision, you can see already it's starting to build. So that's why I typically go into Heat Vision first, so I can get that might buff going, and then I go into Tsunami Strikes. At which point, if you had John Stewart, you would start going into a further might buff. So you would start with the weapon buff, you would go into Heat Vision, start getting the buff from Ebon, prepping your Omega, and then you would go into your Tsunami Strike, starting your Might buff with John Stewart. So this is how it's going to work. We're going to hit Drown. We're going to clip it with our weapon buff. We're going to hit Tsunami Strikes, and then we're going to clip it into Heat Vision. And then whenever Omega is ready, we'll go ahead and run our Omega. So how it looks like all together. I kind of messed up there, but you get the idea. So you always want to clip out of your Tsunami Strikes. Anyways, I'm kind of messing up the combo, but I promise you it does hit over 3 when you're on point with it. And for AoE, it's going to be pretty much the same. The only difference is instead of Heat Vision, we're going to be running Ebb or Eve, however you want to pronounce it. And so when we run this, we want to do the same thing. We want to clip out of Ebb into Tsunami Strikes like this. So the thing with clipping is just like precision, you don't want to go too quick with it. You want to wait till the actual animation starts. That way you see the impact start, but then you cancel the animation of the movement so that you still get the impact without having to wait for it. So you see what I mean? So I do Tsunami Strikes. Because if you do it too quick like that, you didn't see the impact from the Tsunami Strikes. But when you so immediately you cancel right from the right as soon as you start. So how this runs is going to be the same exact thing, although instead of going straight into Heat Vision, I like to go into Ebb. And then you would hit Omega. And then whenever your supercharged generator comes off of cooldown, obviously you want to hit that. So it's pretty decent. It is a very fun power to play. You can get up to 11 mil on AoE parsers, and you can get up to over 3 mil on single target parsers. You just gotta be on point with your combos. The benefit that it has going for it is the supercharge generator with Drown, because it's a pretty good supercharged generator. A lot of SC generators don't hit very well, Um, but this one is a decent hit and then a dot, so it works out pretty well. And then of course with the new mods, it really sets it off. So would I have been running water prior to um, the ultimate mods and the Omega art? No, but it allows the Omega art really allows almost any power to perform very well because you really only need one power that you can spam, right? In this case, all you really need is Tsunami Strikes or Crashing Wave. Um, and then you got the benefit of Omega. And Omega really does all the heavy lifting on these builds, to be honest, because it's so OP. I don't think anybody would, dispute that. So Omega is really the make or break for any might build right now. It's what you need. It's absolutely 100% necessary as a might user. Um, and like I said, it's the mods, it's the arts that really set the power off. So what I'm saying is water is 100% viable. It is definitely competitive with Ebon and Omega. Because all you need is those two powers. So it's a very roundabout way of doing it, but man, is it fun to play and does it hit crazy hard in content. For a little bit of context, when I was sorcery. I switched back to electric. We were pretty much running the same build we ran last time. We just kind of tweaked the single target a little bit. And then I switched to water after that, and I had a blast with it as far as the DPS. Not so much the healing side, it's not as fun as electric, but for DPS, it was really fun. And then I switched to munitions, and so I was running munitions for a while. So what I'm saying is I've had a lot of practice with multiple powers, with the same artifacts, same allies, and just giving it a whirl and seeing what works best, what I like best. And while I wouldn't say water is outperforming munitions or sorcery or anything else like that, it's definitely not slacking behind it either. They all hit really well because, like I said, it's really Omega at the end of the day that's doing all the heavy lifting. So if you want to try something different, I can pretty much guarantee you that water will not disappoint you. It is going to just hit crazy hard with Ebon and Omega attached. And especially if you have John Stewart, you can go ahead and slap probably about another, 250 to 500,000 on your parsers. Um, because I did run the same exact build, same arts, as Muni against another Muni who was running the same exact build, same art, same loadout. The only difference was they had Starfire and John Stewart, and I had Starfire and Zantana, and so they got me by a little bit there. But it really comes down to your artifacts and your allies when it comes to building your DPS, especially for Might. Because right now, I think any power is really good. It's just if you have those combo abilities, you want something quick, and water is very, very quick compared to something like Celestial. I did play Celestial as well. Forgot about that because I did post a video. So, well aware of Spam and Plague and, you know, doing the most. But water is the one that I found to be the most enjoyable. It's very quick. It hits hard. Um, It's good if you want to be swapping flute and stacking it on top of your EOG. I recommend the Whirlpool. You just got to get your placement right, just like with gadgets and running the Fear Gas. So overall, I would give it a very good recommendation for anybody wanting to try something different. You just need the right arts and allies, and water is definitely going to be a competitive tower to be playing um, with the right build. And that's it. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you are water. Let me know if you want to give it a shot or just what you're running. Ultimately, we're just trying to have fun, right? And that's why I'm playing water. It's super fun to me. I'm going to keep playing it. I was munitions and I switched back to water after like a week because I just enjoy it. So, anyways, guys, it's been a minute. I know. But I will catch you next time. As always, I appreciate it. If you're new to the channel, consider sticking around. We will upload occasionally. If you have been with me since the beginning or throughout, as always, very much appreciated. You see me in game, say what's up. If I don't respond, I'm AFK. Otherwise, I will catch you next time. Bully out. Stay frosty.